Hey, friends. Welcome to another empowering episode of the Self-Love Strong podcast. Joining us today is Renée Cooper, an incredible speaker, coach, and founder of Step Into Your Voice. Renee has spent over 2 decades immersed in self-development, starting with the Dale Carnegie Leadership Training and staying committed through the years with growth with Toastmasters, where she now serves on the board and her local chapter. With a 15-year background in corporate fundraising, Renee is known not only for her ability to raise support, but for her magnetic presence on the mic. Leaders in every industry turn to her for guidance and how to have more influence and confidence in their communication. But here's what makes her journey so powerful. Despite her talent for training, Renee struggled with imposter syndrome, holding herself back from launching her speaking business she dreamed of. That all changed when she turned 50, and from that moment on, there's been no turning back. Today, Renee coaches professionals, leaders, and entrepreneurs to increase their self-trust, own their message, and master their presence on stage, in interviews, and in life. Welcome to the podcast, Renee. I'm super excited you're here.
Thank you for having me, Sam. So great to meet you and great to be here.
Yeah, truly a pleasure. Truly a pleasure to have you here. With all the knowledge and the experience that you have, Renee, can you take us back to the beginning? How did that journey of personal development and your speaking begin?
You ready to take out the tissues? No. The Kleenex? For a Hallmark movie? No, it's not that graphic. So, Sam, to be quite frank with you, it started when I was 16. When I was in high school, Oprah Winfrey was like, I considered her a mother figure. I considered her a mentor. But more importantly, when I was watching her, at 16, nobody teaches us about soul, the purpose of our soul or intervention, like divine intervention. But I had a moment where I remember sitting in my apartment in Brooklyn, New York, with the ambulances going by going, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm meant to do. I am meant to inspire, motivate, educate. And then it, just like a star, it went away. My whole education, I focused on being involved in training and teaching and educating. I always took advantage of any opportunity throughout my schooling. I'll do that. Sure, I'll lead that training. Yep, I'll do that. And then I went to college for broadcasting because I thought I was going to be the next Oprah Winfrey. I was still excited, right? I went to one of the best schools in New York for broadcasting. I actually went to college at the same college where Al Roker from the Today Show went. And yeah, I was in class with his brother. And here's the rub. With all the broadcasting classes I started taking, my eyes got open to what life would be like in the news or on TV, and I got a bad taste of it. And so I said, I might not want to be as, rigid and rigorous. I couldn't see like the big vision of, well, how am I going to be the next Oprah Winfrey? So in my mind, I thought, I'll just go into broadcasting or journalism. Well, at that time, I even had family and people around me who would say, if you want to do that, you better start getting, like taking care of things that are not, how do we call this, gender acceptable. Like you're going to need to get your nose fixed, or you're going to need to lose 50 pounds, or, they're like, I had people in my life that tried to crush my dream. So it went away. It totally went away. So I still got my degree in communications, and I worked for NPR radio in college. I had a little taste of news and I wrote articles. Yeah. And I was a DJ in high school, in college. Like I did all of that. I worked for the newspaper, blah, blah, blah. But I spent the first 8 years of my life jumping from job to job to job without any sense of what am I doing? I was in the industry. I was in the media industry, and I was in the buying, purchasing radio spots. I was always like involved in some aspect of media. And then when I got to Men's Health magazine, I worked for the publisher of the magazine. And she was one of the first people that saw that like I had a talent for speaking and for writing. So she started giving me opportunities to write. And it was at that moment when the company was very interested in learning and development and growth, and they would bring in different people to educate us about leadership and different things. Big magazine owned by Rodale Press. They publish lots of magazines. So one day we were asked to go to this lunch and learn, and we didn't know what it was. And we were told someone from the community is coming to speak to you about the needs of our community. And we had to go, Sam. We had to attend these meetings. But they gave us lunch, so it wasn't all that bad. So there I am sitting, and this woman starts speaking about the problems that are facing us in New York City. Now, mind you, I worked at 2 Park Avenue, a gold, if you can imagine, a gold building in New York City that was erected in like the 1920s. You know, like at the epitome of when New York was like New York. And I worked in this beautiful building. And this woman starts speaking about the problems that are facing people right outside the building and people around the corner. And she started touching on issues such as homelessness and hunger and veterans who are in crisis. And I don't know, Sam, something happened where I was like, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I want that job. I want to root for the underdog. I want to help the underdog. I want to help my community. I want to be a leader. That's it. I want to do it. Now, at the time, we didn't have internet and we didn't have cell phones. So don't age me, but that was in the late 90s. And so on my lunch hour, I literally ran to the closest payphone. I asked her, who do I call? I want your job. I called the HR manager of the United Way of New York City, because that's the organization she represented. And I said, how do I get this job? I'm meant to do this. I have all the skills. I got myself an interview within 24 hours. I got hired 3 days later. I started the next week. I didn't even give my 2-week notice. I was like so excited. So there I am now in an opportunity where I get to tell stories and persuade people to give. I was speaking about 3 times a day. I had major accounts like Revlon and Pfizer Pharmaceuticals and Stiles Corporation and the real estate business. I had all these massive accounts. And here's little old me having to go in and persuade people of all different roles and all different titles to give. And there, Sam, something magical happened where my colleagues were getting burnt out about, oh, I got to do another presentation today. I got to do another presentation today. When we would watch each other, I would see that they were flat, that they were scripted, that they didn't seem enthusiastic. But what started happening for me, because I was immersed in Dale Carnegie and Toastmasters starting out very early in life, I started realizing that every audience needs to hear a different story if I want to connect with them and let them see that I'm not there just for their pockets. I'm there to show them that I see them and I see their issues that maybe their sister or their mother or their own kids are going through. So it's not about the people on the streets. It's about the people in this room. It's the people sitting next to you. It's the people down the hall from you. So I learned without anyone telling me anything that I was learning how to be a masterful storyteller. So now fast forward, things were going really well for me. I think I was a little too raw, and I thought that I had to be like Tony Robbins. So I would speak with all this gumption, but I was like, I tried to sound like him. And I saw that people were inspired by my story, but not by my mannerisms. And I could tell people were tuning out. We didn't have devices then, but people would be looking down or whatever. But I did a lot of self-assessment because managers were not noticing what we were doing. They just cared about the bottom line. Were we raising the money or were we not raising the money? And so something fascinating happened for me. I was leading the Pfizer account. It was my second or third year on the account. And some of the executives recognized me from the year prior. And I go into this executive meeting to give this pitch. And I knew how I was going to get to their hearts, because I knew that most executives, and to be quite honest, the majority of them were white, majority of them were male, and I spotted maybe 3 women in the room out of 150 executives, and I had 10 minutes to speak. And I instantly knew when I was preparing, what is it that's going to motivate these people to give to our organization? And at the end of that presentation, and this is really where my second level of imposter syndrome came along and smacked me in the face, I had an executive come up to me. Now, mind you, I am petite. I'm 5'1", 5'2", with heels. And I had an executive come up to me and shake my hand who was probably over 6 feet tall. And, you know, a lot of women today do have to face the notion of how do we remain influential and powerful while dealing with stereotypes that are placed with women in power. This man shakes my hand and he says, that was incredible. That was an incredible speech for someone of your size. He said that to me, like, wow, for someone of your size, that was an incredible speech. Could you imagine? Thank goodness I was taking a stand-up comedy class at the time, because I had a moment of feeling powerful and sarcastic at the same time. So I was able to say something that wouldn't get me fired, of course, but something just enough to make him red in the face, as if to say, you crossed the line, buddy. Just because you're all that and you're an executive and I'm not, and I'm young and I'm white and I'm female and I'm young, does not give you the right to step on my influence, because you wanted to meet me. You wanted to meet me. You wanted to shake my hand and tell me that was an amazing speech. So in that moment, that's really, truly where imposter syndrome set in big time for me. So for the next 8 years, I was at United Way for 8 years. I stayed in my lane. I stayed in my job. But I knew in my heart that I wanted to be a speaker and have my own business, but I didn't know how to do it. And all I could hear in my head was, well, who am I to be? Maybe I'm not all that great. Maybe he's right. Like, who am I to be powerful? And there's this incredible quote that I now use when I'm with some of my clients by Marianne Williamson, how she says, it's not our fears that we're most scared of. I'm not giving it exact word for word, but it's our brilliance, which is what scares us. It's being able to shine in the light that scares us the most. So I feel like in many ways I had to travel this journey of imposter syndrome so I can learn the lessons needed to share that with my clients and the people that need to hear my message, so that they can see the ridiculousness that everyone could be of influence. If you have something to teach, you are influential. And I started to pop the lid off of the word influence. And I'm seeing even today that people put themselves in boxes of, oh, no, I'm not influential. I don't have this title. I don't make this much money. I'm not in this level of the hierarchy. So it really has been a fascinating journey for me to go through all of these years where people were asking me for my help. How do you speak all the time? How do you enjoy it? How do you look like, you know, the buzzword today, as we know in the speaking world, it's kind of overused, is authentic. But that's what people would say to me. How do you appear authentic? Like, how do you do this? I have to speak a lot. I hate it. I wish I enjoyed it more. I wish I could sound less scripted. So I was getting all of the elements from people in my late 20s, but I didn't know how to process them. And I only wish that I leaned into my gift then so that I could nourish it and nurture it, and who knows where I'd be today. But yet on the contrary, I'm a firm believer in going down a path for a reason, because my hope is that sharing this story can make someone in your audience go, wait a minute, what? You were told what? And you let that get to you and stop you from doing what you were meant to be doing, that you knew at 16 you wanted to do. So there's the long answer for that question, which I hope I answered.
No, yes, you did. That's a powerful message because I love something you said there. You were like at the very beginning, I told my family what I wanted to do and how, many of us think the people closest to us are gonna be our main support system there. And it's a really rough time to go. You're like, I'm just starting out on something. I'm sharing my passion and my goals, and the people that are closest to me aren't supporting me. I know many people do feel like
Correct.
that on part of their journey.
Right. That's right. And, that's why as a mentor and a coach, like I feel it's very important to let people know like your dreams and your goals are sacred, whether you're looking to grow in your company as a careerist or whether you're ready to make that transition, that's sacred to you because that's something that's on your heart. And that's why I think the power of coaching and all of the podcasting that people are doing today that are rising us up, that are allowing us to elevate ourselves, to get rid of all the noise of the boxes that we should be in and the way we should live our lives and the paths we should go on. Enough is enough.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. And I think like you said right there, it's really stepping into your power. And I know that must have been a challenging moment right there, where you're in this corporate role, you have your family kind of telling you a different thing, the people closest to you, but then now people are coming to you as the expert. You have people walking up to you like, how do you do this, Renee? Something that you're like, you're learning, you're having people telling you and fighting all those emotions. How did you really navigate that?
I navigated it with a lot of adversity because what would happen is because I'm such a giving, caring, compassionate person, and the people that have worked with me like, in the work, they're able to see, wow, Renee, like I thought I was hiring someone that was just going to help me with speaking, but you're truly heart-centered and you brought me to a level within my own abilities that I never thought would be possible. And so what would happen is I would want to offer these gifts throughout my various jobs in the nonprofit industry, only to be led to not mistrust, but people thinking I wanted to take their jobs, or people trying to invalidate me, or you weren't asked to give your opinions on this training. Meanwhile, people on the other end were like, yeah, we want you to lead this training. So there was always this push-pull of not feeling welcomed for my gifts, not feeling welcomed and seen for who I was. And I think that's why I had this, like, not epiphany, but I was in like one of the most toxic jobs that I could ever think of. And my back was up against the wall. And I finally realized, like, I'm not getting anywhere here. And why should I keep feeling like I'm staying stuck where I'm doing so great with this work, but you're not recognizing me for anything more, or you're thinking I'm trying to take your job. So forget it. I was separated. It was the best thing that happened to me because then I was able to lean in and go, okay, like the writing is on the wall. The rubber has met the road. What do I do? Do I keep taking another job, in the industry that doesn't sing to me or doesn't allow me to share my impact that I want to give people? And I had found Mel Robbins at the time. It was right before the pandemic. I took one of her courses, how to do a reset, have an amazing 2020. I did it. I sprung into action fast. I created one sheets. I had this terrible website. I did it all. And then I started speaking, getting invited to speak. And then the pandemic happened. And then I started doing virtual. People would invite me. Schools would invite me. I started doing virtual stuff. And that unfortunately wasn't motivating to me. Where a lot of people did thrive, though, in the speaking business. They saw it as an opportunity. I didn't feel as connected as I normally do when I'm in front of a live audience. So I squashed my dreams again. And then I went back into the education field, and one thing led to another. And then I was teaching. Before I know it, they put me in a position to teach improvisation to the kids. So I taught improvisation to high school students for the year. And that was like, aha, I love what I'm doing. And now I'm no turning back. So that's when I started coaching on the side, and other people started hearing about me. Oh, will you speak? Will you speak? So it's been really exciting. Now I have some partnerships with some nonprofit organizations. I speak for them once a year, and I'm just always looking to get the message out, because it's so important. It's so important.
Yes. I couldn't agree more, especially just having that confidence to really step into who you are and share that message. But Renee, what does it really mean to step into your voice?
You know what it means? It means to take a look back. Before we can step into your voice, we have to take a look all the way back. And it's uncomfortable for some people, but we have to. We have to look at what happened. What happened? What were you told about your voice? And I help my clients go back to see where they were stopped, thwarted, stalled, and put into boxes where they were where they had to step into the perception of who they were supposed to be. Were they shy? Yep. They were told they were shy. They're going to remain shy all throughout their childhood. I'm shy. I'm not good at speaking. So the step into your voice came to me almost as I was like, this has to be the name of my website, because I'm helping people step into new boxes. The only way we can grow and shift our ability, I don't care if it's mindset, if it's our body with our muscles, growing muscles, or if it's through our voice, we have to step into a new box. That's the only way. That's the only way to get anywhere. So that's where that came from.
Yes, I really love that. It's so powerful when I hear that. I love how you talked about really stepping into your voice is really reflecting on the past. First thing I think about is I need to learn some new techniques, but I really love how it's really taking that introspection and first eliminating the limitations you place on yourself by yourself or from others.
It's really the only way, because then it's you're able to make the realization that none of this is your fault. And it's fascinating when I'm working with a high-level person, even when I get to say to them, it's not your fault, because this is the construct that you were put in, right? It's a construct that you're put in education, in your career, put into a box. So this is the way you're supposed to act. This is the way you continue to act. This is the way we take ourselves wherever we are. So if now we make the decision, I'm leaving my job to pursue a business, but, I don't like to speak. You have so many people out there that are not even sharing their message. They're holding back because of fear. Because of the fear to step into their voice, because it's too scary, because of past messaging. So a lot of people say, as a life coach, I'm sure you can understand, it is transformative work, because you are exercising new muscles and developing new ways. And that's the only way.
Yes, so powerful, so powerful. So how can someone begin to, thank you. So how can someone begin to build their self-trust and confidence as a speaker, even if they don't really see themselves as one?
Yeah, so that's a great question, because we have to flip the lid off of even the messaging of you need to be an outgoing extrovert, for example, to be a great communicator. Yeah. Some of the best communicators are our introverts. And so that right there, that myth needs to go away. That's number one. That's one of the most important things. Number two, as we all know, is we need to tap into the joyful aspects of our own self-expression. What do we enjoy talking about? What are we passionate about? That needs to come first, so we can then understand, what do you care about? Right? Because if you care about something, what you care about becomes bigger than you and yourself. And then we start to take people down the path of realizing it's not about me. I'm the messenger It's about the impact of what I'm trying to share with you. So then we start getting into understanding more about our ego and how that plays such a huge role in everything, and why we limit ourselves because of our ego, right? So as we know, the word confidence is so overused. I don't have the confidence. I don't have the confidence. No, you don't. You're not taking the actions yet. You're not taking the actions to understand that this is an instrument that you've never been taught how to use properly unless you were trained in musical theater or theatrical performance or method acting or anything like that. Then you just don't even know your capabilities. Thus the expression that I use all the time. I don't know, or I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. And so once we take a look at that expression, then it's like, wow, okay, I can now see what I am passionate about or what messages are important to me. And through that, we then get to understand what someone's style is. We can only refine what we know is going well. We don't come from a place of nitpicking and, no, you're not doing this right. No, not about that. It's let's start from what you're passionate about first, because that yields more self-expression. Does that make sense? Does that answer the question?
Yes, totally. I really love something you said there. I love you talking about, like you said, many of us are saying, I'm not confident in doing this, but like you said, you don't know what you don't know. But I love something so powerful that you haven't learned. I think many times we assume that speaking comes just natural. But I love how you said something that you haven't learned to play your instrument correctly.
That's it. That's exactly it. Because when you think about it, when I ask the people that I talk to, what was the first time you had to speak? And they go, oh, I was in second grade and I needed to give a book report and all the kids were laughing at me. Boom. You were put into a box right there. What was the next time you spoke? Oh, it was middle school and I was running to be club president and I forgot all my words. Boom. You were stepping into a box. Like we explore, and I'm not a therapist, but it's fascinating when we start to look at what happened and when. So we can start to demystify that, take the layers off of that to determine, how do you want to show up? What's important to you? And then we go from there.
Yes, it's such a powerful message in itself right there. So I love how you gave us some simple practices like you were talking about, just this of really knowing what you want and really focusing on the things that you enjoy. Are there any other practical strategies that helps you teach people to properly more presence and influence?
Can you repeat the question, please?
No, yeah, you're good. I'm sorry. I know, yeah, you're good. I know you kind of talked a
It
little.
cut out a little bit. Go ahead.
Realizing what you like. Oh, no, you're good. Yeah, you talked about what you really like, and when you establish something you like, you have a little bit more confidence in that because it's something you like. Is there any other practical strategies or mindset shifts you teach people how to speak with more presence and influence?
Yes, and the good news is your audience may not want to hear this, but this is the good news and the not so good news. It's both good news and not so good news. You need to start speaking more. You need to start speaking more. If you don't have an audience, it doesn't matter. On these lovely devices that we have, whether you have an Android or an iPhone, there's this incredible app, and it's called Voice Memos. And it looks like this.
Ooh.
It looks like a little radio. It looks like, here, I'll put it here. I don't know how you can see it. It's this little radio thing. It looks like a weather channel. Okay? When you go into that, you literally go to all recordings and you hit the start button, and now you are practicing speaking just about anything. And I always encourage people to start speaking and listen to yourself. Even if you ask yourself a random question, what am I doing this weekend? Oh, I'm so excited about this weekend. And you start to listen for how you sound. Or you saying, well, this weekend I'm really looking forward to a party that I'm invited to. It's going to be really wonderful. Like we can start to even self-assess, not how we look, but how do we sound? Are we moved by what we are saying? So one of the first strategies is yes. And that's the not so good news. You need to start speaking. And so there's ways to do that. You can go on, whether or not you're interested in Toastmasters or not, it's fine. But you can go onto Google and put in anything. What are the 100 top most interesting questions to ask someone? Or what are the top 100 funny questions? Or what are the best inspirational questions? And I literally have my clients, part of their work is they pick a number. If it's 1 through 100 every day, okay, I'm picking 23 today. I read the question and then I start speaking about it. Because when you start speaking and listening to yourself, you can then go, oh, wow, I like how that sounds. And then, of course, if you want the support of a mentor and a coach to help you learn about emotions, how emotions play every bit of a role in our language, more so than ever. Because when we were young and we were invited to sit around that circle with our teacher in story time, do we remember how the teacher opened the page and read the words so slowly but with emotion? And how the teacher paused to see what our reaction was and emphasize the photo? So we need to take, people back to that time. What was story time like for you when you sat around and listened to someone speak? And that's how we start learning how, again, to use our voice in ways that we're not using it.
Man, that's such a powerful analogy. Like you said, it's an instrument and it's not something that happens overnight, but I love how it's just like, you want to get better. It's by doing,
There is no way around it. And once you start doing, and then you start learning certain basic skills and most people, I'll say it right now, it doesn't matter if you're a CEO or if you're a middle schooler. Everyone talks way too fast. Everyone. I can't even tell you, I go to listen to people speak all the time. I meet high-level people and I'm like, no, please slow down, please. And it's very hard for me as a coach to just listen to someone speak because I'm listening for these other things. But the reason we do that is because we speak with something that's called our default voice. It's the voice we think with. It's like as if there's no filter. It goes from here to here. And that's why we all speak way too fast. So once we start learning that we naturally speak too fast, and I'm sorry, but these devices have made us speak even faster, we start to slow ourselves down. And in the process of slowing ourselves down, we gain composure, we gain confidence, we gain assuredness, because we're actually being mindful about what it is that we wish to say. We can become intentional in our message. And that doesn't matter if I'm selling this can of soda or if I'm selling some major software product. It doesn't matter. We start to learn different ways to use this vessel. And that's just the very beginning of the work.
Wow, so powerful. So powerful right there. So,
that's
Renee,
so sweet of me. Thank you. What do you, good.
Oh, no. Yeah. It's awesome. It's so powerful. Just like what you're doing there. I know it's amazing. So you've helped dozens of leaders grow their communication skills. Can you share a success story or that illustrates, some of that transformation that's possible?
Yes. So I have, oh my God. So, okay, I'm not sure. So I just had a great one that I'll share this one. I was just invited to work with a CEO who runs a very high-level security company. He helps make schools safe here in the state of Florida. And his consulting company hired me because they were taking him on tours throughout the country to put him into the media, because his work is so valuable to make schools safe. And that when they contacted me, they're like, look, he has unbelievable presence, but English is not his first language. Spanish is his first language.
Ooh.
And he may come across as very aggressive and very loud. And we really need your help in helping him tell his story so that any audience can listen to him. So now you have someone who already has all the things that a lot of people are in. It depends. Each person has their journey to take. But for him, it was, how do I take what I do and make it into a story by using my voice in a way that I haven't? So in 2 days, we worked together on teaching him how to get into emotion. Because when you're sharing things that are very hard to talk about, like fatalities and shootings, you can be very methodical and very factual and statistical. And what he needed to learn was he needed to paint a picture for any audience so that they can feel it for themselves to want to say, wow, we need this in our school. And it was just so exciting for me because when I just checked in with them the other day, they were like, not only did he do all the tips, but now he's getting his team to do these tips. And then they booked him. He went on this tour at a different county. The county hired him as a result of the work to now take on all these schools to incorporate his services. So that's just one. And that's like at a high level, I worked with a doctor recently who was an eye doctor. And, it's funny, we talk to people, we think they have it all. She had everything. She had a high-level optometry job. She told me she had the perfect life. Everything was great, but she was so depressed. Why? Because she felt like she was treating the same problem over and over and over, like it was a Band-Aid. Like patients are coming in for eye drops, the same problem. And she was only fixing part of someone's issue when she wanted to help the whole person. So she started getting trained in holistic medicine. And she met me on one of my master classes going, wow, she was an Asian woman. She grew up without expressing any emotion. Everything was statistical, and she went into medicine, research-based, quantifiable. And I'll never forget my first call with her. She's like, I need to increase my speaking skills by 85%. And so even in my consult with her, I said, Emily, she didn't want me to call her doctor, Emily, what is 5% going to look like for you? What about 10? I had to break her down to see that we don't put percentages on growth when it comes to using language and connecting with people. It's not about getting to the results. It's how do I get you down a path to lead you down a story so that you can see that I want to help you as a person and not just, one part of your body. So that was another amazing success story that I had.
Man, Renee, what you're doing is just so powerful. And it just shows the power of communication. I love it.
One of my role models, and I would love to meet him. I didn't join his work because I was already doing it through Dale Carnegie, but John Maxwell, I definitely want to meet him. One day, he's written 65 books, just 65, mostly on masterful communication. And when I mentor clients, we always go to some of his books because he has books on leadership communication and then regular communication. And he's been my role model for years and years and years. And I think the one thing that people are still not seeing, which is why I'm so passionate about this work, is that they feel like they just need to, when they're speaking, it's as if they just need to get it done. I have a presentation to do and I just got to get it done with. They're rushing through it. And in the rushing through it, they're not getting the results that they may want, not just money-wise or sales-wise, but they're not bridging those connections in the way that they really do want to. So there's big shifts when you take this work seriously in whatever capacity, like I help college kids learn how to have less awkward conversations so they can start networking better and have those skills for life, right? Like I have a client now who people go through a lot in life. His wife left him. He was divorced twice. He's told me he doesn't like talking to people, but yet he's a therapist himself, and he needs to get out of his own way to learn how to care about the conversation. So there's so many aspects to communication.
Man, so powerful. I would never thought, like you said right there, there's so many aspects of communication, but I love something like you said, it's something to learn. I think, we assume we've been talking all our lives, but it's a skill, and it's not but to honor the moment of how the gift of communication can really work for you.
Communication is it's an energy exchange. It's an energy exchange. You, before you even say a word, when you're in front of someone, you're already communicating more than 70% of your message. So for people who wish to increase their influence, whether it's on Zoom or on a podcast or in front of people, I take it very seriously to explore what does it feel like to even be comfortable in our own body when we're in front of other people, and how do we use our body as a part of our message so that we can, again, it's all about connection. It's all about connection, and each audience, even if you're in an interview, is different.
Man, this is such a powerful message, but I know, like everybody else that's listening to this episode, where can listeners connect with you and learn more about the work that you do?
Oh, this is awesome. And thank you again for having me. It's been a real joy to talk with you. So you can find me. I'm on most of the streams. I do a lot of Instagrams throughout the week. It's Renée Cooper. TikTok, I'm Step Into Your Voice, but all the rest, you can find me at Renée Cooper. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and I have a specific ambitious speaking group for professionals through my Facebook page. So that's exciting for people that really want to drill down and focus. And for anyone who's interested, if you'd like to join my community of other professionals and leaders and entrepreneurs and business owners who truly are just tired of continuing down the same road they've always continued to go on, they can join the community. And when you do that, you're going to get 10 innovative tips that you are not going to find on Google at all or Chat GPT that are going to help you shift immediately if you choose to make the shift. And I'll get you that link.
Woo! Yes. You guys, I'm going to make it very simple for you to stay connected to Renee. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of her links under on her Instagram, her LinkedIn, her Facebook,
That's
and
awesome.
her TikTok. But most importantly, visit her website, stepintoyourvoice.com. So that's going to be under here as well. So you can make sure you can be a part of her community. That same striving for better communication, not only for their jobs, their relationships, because like she said, it's a transfer of energy. It's so powerful.
It is. And for anyone who, at the very least, if you are looking for someone, a mentor to hold your hand, I'll also send you my chat link just so we can chat. And at the very least, I will have you walk away with a strategy, if it's not the right fit, with a strategy that you can start using tomorrow to help you get you to that next level.
Man, that's so powerful right there. See,
that's great.
I think what you want you to hear is like, I don't know, like that. You want to hear that your journey of communication, journey alone. Many times we want to be better communicators, but we're not asking for help. So that's the best thing. You have Renee, somebody who's going to hold your hand through the process and guide you. It's battle tested guided because she has a process to teach you. But Renee, if you had to leave the listeners with a message,
Can you say that again, please? It broke up. Go ahead.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm sorry. I think it may have cut out. No, you're good. I was going to say, if you had to leave the listeners with a message of just kind of hope and inspiration, what would you leave them with?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question, Sam. I think it would have to be I invite listeners to really stop presenting and start connecting. Stop presenting to people and start connecting with people. Just like John Maxwell talks about, he has conversations with his audiences. And if we can begin to see communication as a conversation, we can then get out of our own way to take some of the pressure off of this public speaking thing and make it so that we are who we are meant to be in conversation with other people, whether it's 5, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000 people, it doesn't matter. So that would be my message. Let's start figuring out how you can stop presenting and start connecting.
All right, man, that is so powerful. Like she said right there, stop presenting and it's time to start connecting. So like I said, you guys, you click on all the links below. Make sure you
That's awesome.
You DM Renee, let her know thank you for sharing this story, sharing her knowledge, sharing her wisdom with you. But don't make this the last time you connected with Renee. So be that are striving for better communication. Like I said, all the links will be below. And you guys, take care.